You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Behind the back! Are you serious? No hesitation on the shot. Ms. Rice feeling it. Make it 3 for 3. And Ciolino, see you later. Here's a chance for Sias, and there's a shot and a goal. Will Spare will take it all the way. Touchdown Seahawks. The extra look and the goal. A gorgeous goal line.
From Stewart Stadium on the campus of Hofstra University, Varsity Media Sports Network presents the second semifinal for Nassau County Conference 4 football. It's Cold Spring Harbor against Seaford. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined by Ben Turchin for the second semifinal in Conference 4. The winner of this game will meet North Shore High School next weekend in the championship game. And Ben, we saw a blowout in the first game today in that first semifinal, but we expect a much better game between these two teams here. Seaford and Cold Spring Harbor, another rematch of a game that took place earlier this season.
Very early in the season, as a matter of fact. It was Cold Spring Harbor's first game of the season, as you see it right there, a 19-0 loss. And Seaford is rolling this year. There's no two ways around it. Mike Corcoran is the new head coach for Seaford. He was a longtime assistant. You talk about this Viking program, Pete. They, in Conference 4, it's Seaford every year, it seems like. They have Long Island championships under their belt. And Rob Perpal was the guy who got it all going. Well, talk about big shoes to fill, none bigger. And Mike Corcoran tasked with that job, and he's 9-0 this year. So Seaford's got things rolling.
It looks like Seaford won the opening coin toss and elected to defer. Seaford, of course, the higher-seeded team, so they are home wearing their green jerseys, white pants, and you see Cold Spring Harbor in the white jerseys and the dark pants. And we are just moments away from the start of semifinal number 2, and we will know in just a couple of hours who will be taking on North Shore High School next week in the championship.
And, of course, we're able to bring this to you. Oh, let's take a look at this first before we get there. We know that North Shore has advanced next week, and the winner of this game, Pete, will also be playing on Saturday.
Right, and then, of course, the winners of the 4 respective conference championships hoping to move on to the Long Island championships in a couple of weeks at Stony Brook.
And as we were saying a second ago, we want to thank our sponsors for allowing this broadcast to be presented free, no paywalls or anything like that for our viewing audience out there around Long Island and Nassau County. Thank you to Orland & Cohen, our title sponsor all season long. And today, again, they are the best providers of orthopedic care around Long Island. That's Orland & Cohen. Visit them online for more information at orlandcohen.com. That's ORLINCOHEN.com. A big thank you to Ray Nelson and all the doctors at Orland & Cohen.
So it will be Seaford kicking off. Doing the kicking honors is their senior Matt Garcia, number 12, and he's going to have it spotted down at the 40. And Cold Spring Harbor will get the ball first to start this game.
One thing I wanted to bring up before we kick off, Seaford did not play last week. It was a forfeit by Island Trees. We'll see if do they get off a little bit slow? Is that an advantage, a disadvantage? Does it ultimately not really matter? Or does it kind of act as like a bye? They are the number 1 seed anyways. But Cold Spring Harbor played, Seaford didn't last week.
And we are underway here at Hofstra, and that is Jake Rogers on the return. And he boots it. It goes back into the end zone. It'll be a touchback, and that is where Cold Spring Harbor will take over to start this game 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Well, if Cold Spring Harbor is going to have success today, they're going to have to run the football. They didn't maneuver any points in Week 1 against Seaford. As we talked about, that game was at Cold Spring Harbor. Seaford's got a very good defense. Obviously, offensively, they're going to feature McHugh. But for Cold Spring Harbor, Peter, on offense, it's going to start with Tawkas. He's got to get going here if they have a chance.
And their quarterback, C.J. Riley, who will be taking snaps from his brother, Reagan Riley. C.J., the junior quarterback, and Reagan, the sophomore center. And we are about ready for our first play of the game. And here's a give up the middle, close to a first down, maybe even a first down run straight up the middle. And that is Charles Tawkas on the carry.
That's what we talked about a moment ago. That's the senior running back. The offense begins and starts with him, number 5. And, Pete, that's a first down.
And there's a look at the Cold Spring starters on offense. We talked about Tawkas. We talked about C.J. Riley, their starting quarterback, and look out wide for Jake Rogers throughout the course of the game.
Rogers is that wide receiver threat. Had a nice touchdown catch last week.
And here's Tawkas again. Not as successful as he was on the first carry. This time just about a yard on the play before he is met with a host of green jerseys.
Actually, Rogers didn't score the touchdown, if you remember, in our top 10. He got to the 1-yard line.
So they give him a yard to the 31. There is the starting defense for Seaford. And you look at those talented linebackers, including number 2, Tom Kofod. We'll keep an eye on all of those players throughout the course of the day today. Again, Tawkas up across the 33, maybe to the 34. And it'll bring up third down.
Yeah, making the tackle there for Seaford, number 53, Nick Schneider, the senior. And it's going to be just like the game before, Pete. Who wins the battle at the line of scrimmage ultimately will prevail in this game.
Both teams in this game, obviously, with very, very good play in the trenches, so we'll see who is going to be better on this afternoon. And here's a run down the middle, and that is Bryce Kipnis. Takes it all the way into Seaford territory, inside the 40 and inside the 35, or right at the 35-yard line before he's pulled down. The fullback, the junior fullback, Bryce Kipnis. And here's the look at the replay.
Yeah, just one of those fake plays, a little trap action up the middle, and Kipnis does the rest, bulldozes over that defender. And that's what Cold Spring Harbor has to do. And right now, things are working well for them offensively.
Finally brought down by Tom Kofod, 1st and 10. And here's Tawkas looking for a hole. And he had it shortly. Then it was quickly closed up. And Jack Kellner, number 56, the first green jersey to hit him.
Yeah, Chris Navin, number 7, also in there. The defensive back coming up for the tackle. I'll give credit to Seaford here. They're meeting Cold Spring Harbor on some of these runs. And the defensive line has been up to the task so far. Yes, Cold Spring Harbor's had some couple of big runs, but we got to keep an eye on this defensive line here for the Vikings.
C.J. Riley coming back to the huddle with the play. It'll be 2nd down and 7 from the 32. Caden O'Connor, top of your screen, flanked out to the left. Jake Rogers, bottom of your screen. And his Tawkas has a first down. Inside the 25-yard line, down to about the 23. He's been the workhorse so far.
If Cold Spring Harbor is going to get blocking like that, they're going to be they'll take it. Coach Mandreski will absolutely. Riley Reagan, Hunter Yolico, some of the guys up front doing a nice job blocking. Let's give credit to Daniel D'Amelio as well. And there's been some big holes here early on in this first drive for the Seahawks.
And again in the backfield is Tawkas. The fullback Kipnis going in motion, and Riley's going to keep it himself, tries the right side. He's got some room down inside the 10, inside the 5, and he is in for the touchdown. He did not go down before the goal line. He got in, and Cold Spring Harbor has jumped out to a 6-0 lead.
Well, where have we seen this before? It seems like Clark North Shore all over again on the first offensive series for the team with the football first. They scored. This is C.J. Riley taking it 24 yards to the house. And it just seems like every running opportunity that Cold Spring Harbor found themselves in, they had success with on this drive, Pete. Some big, big gainers.
Now on for the extra point. O'Connor will hold. And the kick is good by Michael Schmidt. And with 8:16 to go in the opening quarter, Cold Spring Harbor jumps out to a 7-0 lead over Seaford. You are watching the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Teed off by shoulder pain? We've got specialists for that. Realizing you've pulled out more than weeds? We've got specialists for that. Doing the twist making you shout? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
And we are back here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Want to thank another one of our sponsors for allowing the broadcast to be complimentary to our viewing audience, Lindbrook Swag. Thank you to them for sponsoring today's game. For the best embroidery and custom apparel, call them at 516-705-5888. Lindbrook Swag works with many sports teams around Long Island. Mention hashtag Buckeyes and save 10%.
8:16 to go in the opening quarter, and Cold Spring Harbor runs it right down the throat of Seaford on the board for a 7-0 lead. And you heard the term deja vu all over again, right?
Oh, yeah. Yogi Berra, the great Yogi.
And we'll see how Seaford responds. We'll see if they respond like North Shore did against Clark in the first game. It was a very short squib kickoff by Michael Schmidt, and it's recovered on the 40-yard line by Seaford. And that's where Seaford will put the ball into play, 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line, and we'll get a look at this outstanding running offense that the Seaford Vikings have shown all season long.
And it starts, obviously, with number 1, James McHugh, the senior captain. Again, we talked last game about Giordino from Clark being an all-county player. James McHugh is that, and possibly all Long Island as well. Number 1, you're going to be treated to a big game by McHugh today, you would think.
Here's Kyle Stark, the quarterback, under center for Seaford. And the give is to McHugh right away. Up across the 40 to the 42.
Aiden McKean, number 58, with the stop there for Cold Spring Harbor.
We'll take a look at Seaford's starters. We talked about Kyle Stark. We talked about James McHugh. You look at that offensive line anchored by the center, Alex McGarry. In the middle, number 76. And also keep an eye on Thomas Harrington, wide receiver, number 25. Right now, flanked outside, number 22, John Rauchi, on the top of your screen. 3 running backs. And the give around the left side is McHugh, up across midfield into Cold Spring Harbor territory. Correction, that was Barone, Anthony Barone, the ball carrier, not McHugh. Barone picks up the first down to the 48-yard line.
Nice job there by Barone, another senior here for Seaford. A lot of seniors on this team, upperclassmen, and good leadership here for Coach Corcoran's squad. And things are going right as we would expect with Seaford marching right down the field.
And there's a look at the Cold Spring Harbor defense. 1st and 10 for Seaford from the Cold Spring Harbor 48-yard line. And winding his way down the left side close to the 40, that is McHugh. And he gets down to about the 41-yard line. And it'll bring up 2nd down.
You had Riley Tawkas in on the tackle along with Aiden McKean. Peter, these two teams know each other so well. They play every year. They've met here at Hofstra before. Corcoran has been an assistant on the Seaford sideline, now a head coach. Mendreski. There's not much that's going to fool either of these guys. It's ground and pound. It's the line of scrimmage, and who's going to control that today?
Man in motion is Jack Murphy. And now McHugh takes the pitch around the right side. Not much room, and he is brought down basically at the line of scrimmage. Maybe he got another yard. He did, down to the 39. Got 2 yards, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
You'll see Jake Rogers at the top of your screen, number 9. He kind of breaks this play up on the penetration, causes McHugh to backstep a little bit, and the rest of the defenders for Cold Spring Harbor clean that up. Now we come up to a 3rd and short.
Andrew Stern was also in on that tackle, number 12, defensive tackle. 3rd down and 2 at the 39. And here's McHugh up the middle. He's got the first down and a couple more. He's down to the 36-yard line, maybe the 35. We'll see where they spot it. In any event, it's a 1st down. They move the chains.
Yeah, if you have any wish of stopping Seaford today, you can't put them in 3rd and short situations. Even if they don't get it, it's 4-down territory. You're going to have to get Seaford in a 3rd and long to get them off the field. And right now, Cold Spring Harbor has not been successful doing that.
1st and 10 for the Vikings. And here's the pitch to McHugh around the left side. He's got some room down inside the 30-yard line. and brought down at around the 28-yard line. Caden O'Connor, number 2, the defensive back, was in there on the play as well.
You can see what makes McHugh so good. He's a patient runner. He lets his blocking get set up, and then he finds the creases, and that was on display right there on a big run.
2nd down and a yard from the 27. McHugh again up the middle, and he's got another 1st down. It's inside the 25-yard line down to the 24.
Yeah, Aiden Burdo, number 23, in on the tackle there, but not before the 1st down. And Peter, the sign of a defense, you don't want your secondary players to come up making these tackles. You need your defensive linemen and linebackers to be making some of these plays. But right now, Seaford is getting into the secondary of Cold Spring Harbor.
Burdo had 5 tackles and a fumble recovery in last week's quarterfinal win. On 1st down, here is Barone on the left side, down inside the 20, down to the 15-yard line, and he is close to another 1st down for Seaford.
Let's give credit to the guys up front. Number 77, Paul Schultz, the senior offensive lineman. He has been moving the chains and moving the pile here for Seaford.
And they do give another 1st down.
Yeah, the chains have been moving frequently here for Seaford. This offensive line is going to be something that Cold Spring Harbor is going to have to reconcile here today. Joe Olsheimer, number 63, another one of those linemen that's had the good push here so far on this first drive for Seaford.
1st and 10 for the Vikings from the 14-yard line. And here again, Barone on the left side, inside the 15-yard line, down to about the 13 or the 12.
Yeah, that time Hunter Ulico, number 72, able to come up and stop Seaford for a short gain.
So just a couple of yards on that run there for Barone. 2nd and 8 from the 12. It's been a lot of McHugh so far, but it's also been Barone here and there for some quality yardage as well. And the pitch is to McHugh around the left side, inside the 10. Still going and finally brought down just outside the 5-yard line at around the 6.
Seems like every time Seaford attempts a play, it's a gain of 5 yards, and Cold Spring Harbor can't afford to have that. Eventually, they're going to find their way into the end zone, and we're only 7 yards away from that. But, again, you have to give tremendous credit to the Seaford offensive line. They've been able to control the line of scrimmage and provide that push that McHugh needs for the big gains.
Down to 2:40 to go in this first quarter. And here's the pitch to McHugh around the left side. He's tripped up, but is able to keep going forward towards the goal line. Is he in? Yes, touchdown. McHugh was bottled up a little bit inside the 5-yard line. He was able to stay on his feet. He was able to break the plane to the goal line, and Seaford an extra point away from tying the game.
Keep the feet moving, never give up on the play, and
right
that's
there.
all McHugh right there. Like you said, he got stopped, kept going, reaches for the goal line. Great effort there by the senior running back.
And now out to attempt the extra point is Matt Garcia. And the kick is up, and that kick is good, and we are all even. 2:22 to go in the opening quarter. Cold Spring Harbor 7, Seaford 7. We'll be back on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Parents and athletes, why leave your college career in the hands of amateurs? Varsity Media produces professional college recruiting videos that you can use to help land a spot on the team. Our highlight reels have proven to save thousands of dollars in college tuition. You've worked hard and put the effort into your high school athletic career. Don't take any chances when it comes to your future. Varsity Media has been producing college recruiting videos since 2010. We understand what college coaches are looking for, and our attention to detail on your highlights will separate your resume from others. Stand out from the crowd. We'll help showcase your talents. Contact Varsity Media today and order a college recruiting video.
We are tied at 7 as we come back to Hofstra University for the second semifinal in Conference 4. Seaford and Cold Spring Harbor tied at 7 after the McHugh touchdown run. And now Matt Garcia set to tee it up at the 40-yard line. It looks like the wind has made its first impression of the afternoon and morning as it has blown the ball off the tee.
I was surprised that we got down to the field in between games. I didn't really sense that, but rain is expected in the forecast here, possibly by a little bit towards the end of this game.
Jake Rogers is deep for Cold Spring Harbor. Looks like Caden O'Connor deep as well. And it's O'Connor on the return. He boots it. He's able to pick it up across the 25 to the 30. Penalty marker is down as O'Connor gets across the 30-yard line to the 32.
That'll be coming back against Cold Spring Harbor. Let's thank one of our final sponsors here for the broadcast today, allowing us to keep our broadcast free to the viewers. Thank you to Tony and the crew at Fat Boy Burrito for sponsoring today's games. Located in Belmore, these guys make some unbelievable burritos and bowls. Opening up locations soon in Levittown and East Northport. Check them out at fatboysburritoco.com.
You caught my attention at Levittown there.
They're coming your way. They're heading your way. And we'll do a food review with them coming up in the fourth game today here from Hofstra. But you and I will have a big review of our own coming up at halftime. It'll be Shrimpy's Burrito Bar that we're going to be checking out.
How much time until that?
That's right. I passed up on the pizza that was provided here by Section 8 because I wanted to keep the appetite for Shrimpy's.
We are looking forward to that coming up at halftime, but 2:13 remaining in this opening quarter here between Seaford and Cold Spring Harbor. And here's Tawkas, and he's up across the 25-yard line for Cold Spring Harbor up to about the 27. Be just a yard shy of the first down. Another good run for Charles Tawkas, a 5'10", 185-pound senior. Had a big game against West Hempstead last week, 151 yards and 2 touchdowns in the quarterfinal win.
I have some bad news for you. If you were expecting a lot of passing today, this is not your game. You're going to see a lot of running of the football by both teams today. That's what works for them.
2nd and 1. And here's the pass. Out in the flat, complete for a first down across the 30 to the 32. Jake Rogers hauls it in.
Rogers made it to Varsity Media's top 10 this week. Had a really nice play from C.J. Riley last week, and he's a guy that can run those kind of routes and provide an option in the passing attack for Cold Spring Harbor when needed.
3 catches for 66 yards a week ago, a 6'1", 185-pound senior.
Yeah, one of those catches was about 50 yards. One of those plays that made it into our top 10.
Full house backfield. And they give us to Kipnis around the right side. Not much movement there. Correction, it was Tawkas on the carry.
Jack Kellner, number 56, one of the senior captains here for Seaford, coming up to make that tackle.
And a gain of just a yard on the play. We've had a kind of a similar start from the first game. Cold Spring Harbor right down and scores a touchdown just like Clark did, and then Seaford comes back to tie the game. We'll see if Cold Spring Harbor can change the fortunes of the teams that score first today. And here's a run across the 35-yard line to the 36. That was Kipnis.
Well, Cold Spring Harbor's got really their first trying third down play here because this is the 3rd and long coming up here. And not saying that they can't run the football, but you would expect potentially a pass play here.
3rd and 6 from the 36. 20 seconds to go in the opening quarter.
Keep an eye on Rogers. He's at the bottom of your screen, number 9 for Cold Spring Harbor.
And they give us to Tawkas around the left side. Does he have room? He goes out wide, and he's got the first down. Great vision by Tawkas to find the hole at the last moment, cut back towards the middle of the field, and he gets the first down.
Let's watch this again, and there was some great blocking that's going to come up to the top of your screen by some of the Cold Spring Harbor players. You see number 34 and the wide receiver, number 2, Caden O'Connor, and also Bryce Kipnis, and that kind of sprung the running back for the first down.
And that brings us to the end of the first quarter here at Hofstra. Seaford 7, Cold Spring Harbor 7 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Parents and athletes, why leave your college career in the hands of amateurs? Varsity Media produces professional college recruiting videos that you can use to help land a spot on the team. Our highlight reels have proven to save thousands of dollars in college tuition. You've worked hard and put the effort into your high school athletic career. Don't take any chances when it comes to your future. Varsity Media has been producing college recruiting videos since 2010. We understand what college coaches are looking for, and our attention to detail on your highlights will separate your resume from others. Stand out from the crowd. We'll help showcase your talents. Contact Varsity Media today and order a college recruiting video.
Peter Schwartz, Ben Turchin back at Hofstra. We head to the second quarter, second semifinal in Conference 4. Seaford and Cold Spring Harbor tied at 7. And now Cold Spring Harbor, Seahawks moving from right to left here in this second quarter. The give is to Tawkas up the middle, and he's got 3 yards or so. It'll bring up second down.
It was a big run on third down by Tawkas following the blocks, and he gets really low to the ground. That makes it hard to bring him down, and it was that extra effort that got him across for the first down. And Petey's been running pretty well. You got to give credit to the offensive line, but Cold Spring Harbor's been able to move the chains here.
They're going to make a switch here on that offensive line. It looks like Daniel D'Amelio is coming out, so he was hobbling a little bit.
I think it was a sneaker issue, or cleat issue, actually, that came loose on him. Stephen Kania, I think, number 60, will get one play here on the offensive line.
Out of the shotgun, C.J. Riley, and we've got a timeout called. So Cold Spring Harbor is going to call a timeout. Maybe they did that to try and get D'Amelio back in the game.
Yeah, very possible. That was an unexpected substitution when you lose one of your linemen and you're running the football so well. Maybe they got the play call in late because of that, and they weren't ready for that play.
I mean, you don't want to extinguish a timeout this early in the half, but at the risk of keeping yourself rolling the way you've been rolling, I guess you do that and you get your lineman back in the game.
Absolutely agree with you on that. You have to call the timeout because you want to put in the best play here, 2nd and 7. 7 more yards is needed here, and if that's one of your better linemen, then call that timeout, get him back into the game, and kind of reset offensively. But it's just weird. You don't always see the entire team huddle up after a timeout like that. So not sure if Coach Mandreski saw something he didn't like, but you saw the entire team, Pete, on the far side of the field huddle up during that timeout.
And now it looks like we're going to be set to go here on a 2nd and 7 from the 46-yard line.
Of course, after the timeout, the player is allowed to come back into the game. And there he is. You see 66.
He is.
D'Amelio is back in there.
Out of the shotgun, C.J. Riley rolling to his right, looking downfield, far side, pass complete to Kipnis. He's got the first down inside the 45 and knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. A nice play from C.J. Riley to Bryce Kipnis.
Take another look at that. It was a great design from the beginning. You're going to get play action, all right, freezing the defense, and then he just kicks out in the flat there. Kipnis is all alone at the 50-yard line, top of your screen. That's a really good-looking play.
And as we come back, a run up the middle by Tawkas. And he gets a couple down to about the 38-yard line.
Seems like every time Cold Spring Harbor needs to dial up a play to move the chains or gain some big yardage, they've been very successful at it here early on in this game.
2nd down and 7 from the 38. And this time, Riley will keep it himself around the right side, and he's brought down just shy of the first down. Nice run by C.J. Riley down to about the 31, 32-yard line.
Yeah, C.J. Riley really can do it all. A season ago was a wide receiver. Now he's the quarterback, can also run from the shotgun formation or under center. he's a weapon at the quarterback position.
And on the quarterback keeper, he gets the first down to the 30-yard line. How many times do you think C.J. Riley and Reagan Riley worked on that in their backyard?
I would think quite a few. Absolutely. Having a brother that you could play football with definitely helps. And I go back to this, Pete. It seems like every time Cold Spring Harbor needs a play to move the chains, they're getting that here today.
Mm-hmm. Inside of 10 minutes to go in this second quarter, game tied at 7, and it has been just rolling for both teams running the football. And C.J. Riley gives to Kipnis around the right side, and he breaks free, and he gets down inside the 15-yard line and a first down inside the 13.
Bryce Kipnis just putting his head down, lowering those shoulders, and he looks like a bowling ball up the middle.
Watch the fake to Tawkas. I think they bid on Tawkas, and then Kipnis took the ball.
And look at that, plowing right over the Seaford defender. He broke 2-3 tackles there. This is something Cold Spring Harbor didn't show in Week 1 against Seaford at home, and they're showing it in spades here. Remember, they were shut out against the Vikings at home. Already 7 on the board, looking for more.
Kipnis at fullback, and we've got movement along the right side of the line of the offensive line for Cold Spring Harbor. We'll see if they were drawn off.
I would expect this to be a false start. You had 2 offensive linemen on the right side, both moving at the same time early. And we'll see if that kills the momentum, because things have been very good for Cold Spring Harbor offensively on this drive, and now you're backed up 5 yards on the false start.
It's been a very impressive drive for the Seahawks, no question. Stubbing their toe there a little bit with the penalty, but still first down and 15 at the 18-yard line. This is a challenge for Seaford here, Ben, when you've got Kipnis and Tawkas, and they're both on the field at the same time. Here's the pitch to Tawkas, and he's got some room around the right side, but then that hole closes up very, very quickly at around the 13-yard line.
Yeah, Cold Spring Harbor only getting a couple of yards back off the penalty. It'll bring up a 2nd and long. They are in the red zone here, so I know it's early, but decisions are going to have to be made. But a 2nd and long, you would expect the run to continue here, but we'll see for how long.
It'll be a 2nd down and 12 at the 15. And they break the huddle. They send O'Connor out wide, and here's the give to Kipnis around the left side, down inside the 5-yard line. Correction, that was Tawkas. My apologies. That was Tawkas down to the 2 on the run.
Let's take another look at this as Tawkas gets the first down on this big-time run right up the gut, dragging Seaford defenders with him. You have to be impressed with the way Cold Spring Harbor is running the football today with authority.
Charles Tawkas with a big, big run. Big job by the offensive line as well. And it's Riley on the keeper, and let's see if Seaford keeps him out. I think they do, as he's going to be stopped just shy of the goal line.
Yeah, great job that time by the Seaford defense. The front 4, they would not let Riley get across the goal line.
That ball placed down inside the 1, just inches away from the plane of the goal line.
It's hat-on-hat time right now, Pete. That's what it is. Who can move that ball across the goal line? And if you're Seaford, you want to push him back, and that's exactly what they did to C.J. Riley there on that previous play.
And Cold Spring Harbor has been so versatile. Do you give it to Riley? Do you give it to Tawkas? Do you give it to Kipnis? Let's see. It's Tawkas for the touchdown.
Well, outstanding blocking by the Cold Spring Harbor offensive line. That time they're pushing Seaford back. And Cold Spring Harbor retaking the lead.
They go up 13-7. A power run right up the middle. There's Kipnis on the block, and Tawkas sneaks right behind him. And it's 13-7. And here's a throw into the back of the end zone for the 2 points, and he's got it.
Is that Jesse Phelan, number 42? It was in the back of the end zone. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I couldn't tell. There was some pressure up the middle. Let's take a look at this again. It's hard to tell. I think it was.
I think it was intentional.
It was intentional. I would agree with you. And Phelan doing a great job leaping forward to the back of the end zone. He gets two. That's an NFL catch, Pete.
A great play by Phelan to keep both feet in bounds. He only had to have one. He got two, and with 6:37 to go in the second quarter, it's Cold Spring Harbor 15, Seaford 7 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Not feeling the love after your last tennis match? We've got specialists for that. Running for the train, derail your knee? We've got specialists for that. Diving after that grounder, leaving you grounded? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
Peter Schwartz, Ben Turchin back at Hofstra University. 6:37 to go in the second quarter. Cold Spring Harbor ahead 15-7 over Seaford on the Charles Tawkas 1-yard touchdown run.
Breaking news, Shrimpies just entered the building. We're about 6.5 minutes away from this food review.
And thankfully, there's a lot of running going on in this game. And here's a misplay off the kickoff. The ball bounces around, and it looks like Seaford may have recovered it. It was a short kickoff, and it definitely touched a Seaford player. They couldn't come up with it, and finally it was for Seaford, Anthony Barone, who was able to fall on that football, and Seaford will have it 1st and 10 from their own 27.
Pete, I have to ask the question, what is it with the second quarter of these games today and fumbling the football on kickoff returns?
It's amazing how similar it has been, but let's see now. We saw Cold Spring Harbor jump out. Now they're still leading, but Clark jumped out to that lead, and then North Shore took over big time in the morning game. Look at that last drive, 11 plays, 60 yards in just under 6 minutes.
That was Seaford's last drive when they put their first touchdown on the board. So you know they want to go the length of the field here and not give the ball back to Cold Spring Harbor.
And here is McHugh, straight up the middle, is able to wiggle his way up across the 35-yard line to the 37. He's going to be just a yard shy of the first down, and it'll bring up 2nd and 1.
Those are the situations that the Vikings want to find themselves in. A big gain on first down. Not much left here on second. You've got good field position, almost to the 40-yard line. And right now it's mano-a-mano. Back and forth we go here in this game.
And here again, the give to Barone around the left side, and he's got the first down up to the 39-yard line.
No, very similar to Kipnis. Barone kind of fills that same role for Seaford. He's not the feature back, but he does get some looks. Hard-nosed runner, and he moves the chains there right there for Seaford.
And it's a first down at the 39-yard line, and Barone comes out of the game off to the sideline, and now a 1st and 10 for Seaford. And the run around the left side inside the 50-yard line, bounced out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
It was John Rauchi.
That was John Rauchi.
Yep.
A wide receiver, a senior wide receiver that took the run.
Yeah, just bouncing it outside, had some breathing room there. Gets that first down. That's a look that Cold Spring Harbor hadn't seen yet in this game. Rauchi.
Now 1st and 10 from the 47. And here's the pitch around the right side and down inside the 40-yard line. And it's going to be a couple of yards shy of the first down. And that was McHugh down to the 40.
And it's all about misdirection and what can you do to keep the defense guessing. After we saw Rauchi off the left side, they faked it to Rauchi that time, and it was a keeper for McHugh, or a give to McHugh rather, and now it's 2nd and short.
2nd down and 3 from the 40. Rauchi lined up as a wide receiver, bottom of your screen. Around the left side now, and a first down run, and that is Barone, who takes it down inside the 30-yard line to the 29.
Major hole opened up by the left side of the Seaford offensive line. clearing the way for Barone. He saw it. Watch, you're going to see it right here ourselves on the replay. Take a look at the top of your screen. Look at how open that lot. Yeah, number 77 for Seaford, doing a great job clearing the way. Paul Schultz, and that's an easy first down run for Seaford.
And we've got a timeout on the field. 4:29 to go in this second quarter. 15-7, Cold Spring Harbor. It's been as advertised. Run, run, run. Maybe you mix in some misdirection. There's been a couple of passes in the game, but for the most part, we have seen what we expected.
Yeah, and neither defense really can stop the offense, and I think that's what you got to keep an eye on here. Almost had a turnover there on the kickoff return by Seaford, but they were able to hold on to the football there. And the defensive coordinators for both of these teams, Pete, they have to figure out a way. How do we stop this running attack?
In between games, I heard somebody in the press box saying, can we get a good game so far here at Hofstra this weekend? I think we got one.
Absolutely. And like I said in the beginning of the game, these two teams know each other. They play every year in the regular season. They play at Hofstra. There's been years that Seaford's beat Cold Spring Harbor to advance. There's been years where Cold Spring Harbor's beaten Seaford. Happened on their way to the Long Island Championship in 2018. You're not fooling either guy here in this game. It's just a matter of who can make the stops.
So 1st and 10 from the 29. And here's McHugh right up the middle. He's got big yards again down to the 22-yard line. It'll be a little shy of the first down, a couple of yards shy of the first down, as a matter of fact. 2nd down and 3.
Joe Alzheimer, number 63. The interior line for Seaford has been really dominant so far in this game. And it's just another big push. You get 7 yards, Pete, on a first down run. You're just in great shape. You could open up the offensive playbook. What do you want to do? A short pass, a counter, a reverse, a jet sweep. Everything is in your arsenal right now on 2nd and 3.
On 2nd down and 3, looks like Cold Spring Harbor jumped. McHugh around the right side, inside the 20, down inside the 15-yard line. They did not call a flag. It did look like Cold Spring Harbor right side of the line jumped a little bit, but no flag on the play, and it's a first down for Seaford.
Yeah, I think they got away with one, but it didn't matter because the end result is a first down for the Vikings. Just a pitch that time to McHugh coming off the right side. The blocking was there once again on the right side of the offensive line. Hey, the blocking's been there on the left side, it's been there in the center, and it's been there on the right side. Everything working for the Vikings right now.
1st and 10 from the 15. And the give is to Arguello along the right side, down inside the 10-yard line to the 8. So the first time we've seen Anthony Arguello take the ball, a senior 5'11", 185 pounds.
Yeah, and if you're Seaford right now, if you're Coach Corcoran, you got to play a little bit of ball control here, time management. Do you want to score too quickly and give Cold Spring Harbor the ball back for the last drive of the half? Or do you sit on the clock a little bit here and make sure you get into halftime tied at 15?
There's Rouchy in the slot, top of your screen. The pitch is to McHugh. He's got some room, and he's in for the touchdown. That was a giant hole around the left side of that line, and James McHugh powers in, and with 2.5 minutes to go in this second quarter, it's 15-13.
You're going to see on the replay, again, it's misdirection here. It's a fake. We're going around the other side, and there's no defender in sight here for Seaford as McHugh takes it off the left side. And they answered my question. Were they going to play ball control or score quickly? They score quickly, giving Cold Spring Harbor 2.5 to work with here in the second quarter. And they're also not going for 2.
And Matt Garcia for the extra point. And the kick is up, and the kick is good. So we've got a 1-point game. 2.5 minutes to go, 2:34 to be exact. Cold Spring Harbor 15, Seaford 14 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
It's time to get hyped with Varsity Media. We offer an array of video services sure to amp up your team. From staged preseason hype videos with custom lighting and smoke machines to sideline highlights of a big game. How can your team stand out from the crowd? Contact Varsity Media today and let us tailor something your squad will never forget. These are the best times of your life. Capture them in the most creative ways possible with the sports leader, Varsity Media.
Peter Schwartz, Ben Turchin back at Seward Stadium on the campus of Hofstra University. 2:34 to go in this second quarter. And Seaford scores for the second time, but the difference in this game right now is a 2-point conversion. Cold Spring Harbor is up 15-14.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit surprised because at the high school level, you try to tie the game. I just think it's a momentum thing, but I'll give Coach Corcoran some credit. He's not worried about that point. You worry about that, I guess, later on. It's a long game. It's only the second quarter. So, again, he's not worried about it. Yes, right now Cold Spring Harbor is leading by 1, but we've got 2 scores on each side, and I think that's more important.
Another short kickoff. That's recovered at the 32 and up near the 40-yard line. And that is
I think it was Jesse
42.
Phelan.
Yeah, it was Phelan, 42.
Yeah, I think it's Phelan again. Now, one of the things that I was asking on that play is on the touchdown is you're going to give Cold Spring Harbor the ball back with 2:28 here and a timeout to go, and the chains on first down, the clock will stop when they move the chains. Pete, I don't know about you, but I kind of think that's a lot of time to give Cold Spring Harbor here.
Plenty of time. The way that they've been running the football, and listen, they've been very, very effective so far. It's an eternity. And they still have Cold Spring Harbor. I think they have 2 of their 3 timeouts. They have 1 left. Only 1 timeout.
1 timeout remaining.
Here's a give up the middle for Tawkas. Not much room there. Gets a yard or 2. The clock will run 2:15, and there's second down and 8 for Cold Spring Harbor.
Well, Seaford will start to think about when to call their timeouts. Maybe you'll see that on a third down. You know the Vikings would love to get the ball back here before the end of the half, but you're not panicking if you're Cold Spring Harbor, especially second and long. They've already shown in this game that they can convert on a second or a third and long. So I think right now things are okay if you're Coach Mandreski for the Seahawks.
Inside of 2 minutes to go. Second and 8. Riley throws far side. Pass is complete. It is complete and knocked out of bounds on the play. And that pass was completed, and it'll bring up third down.
Kipnis, number 34, the receiver on that one, and he gets out of bounds, which stops the clock.
3rd and 6 after the completion. Riley again back to pass, flushed out to his right. He's going to keep it himself. He's going to head towards midfield, but he's going to be brought down shy of the first down at the 49-yard line. So a decision time here for Cold Spring Harbor with 1:30 to go and counting.
I think they would go for it because there's not a lot of time left, and Seaford's predominantly a running team, but I'm surprised that Seaford's not stopping the clock and making Cold Spring Harbor think about it. The clock is ticking in Seaford. You can't take the timeouts with you into the locker room. You can't do that. So this is a little surprising. Now we're going to have a stoppage of play.
Somebody called a timeout. There's a whistle, and the official's coming over to talk to Mike Corcoran.
At this point, if you're Cold Spring Harbor, you're not looking for the timeout. You don't want to stop the clock because you're in a 4th down situation. And if you don't get it, you want all the time to come off the clock as possible. But if you're Seaford, Pete, you have a chance to get the ball back.
The official just made a motion up to the press box to reset the play clock. Actually, now they're putting more time back on the clock. They just reset the game clock to 1:21. So it's going to be a 4th and 2 at the 49.
And I'm not sure why the clock isn't running.
And now Cold Spring Harbor takes the timeout.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. You would have thought that they would have just gone for it here on 4th and lived with the results and not stopped the clock.
They might have wanted to see how Seaford was going to line up defensively. Now you may see them punt.
That's a good point. They may wind up punting. It's getting dark out here.
Yes. I would expect we're going to see the lights on pretty soon.
But also it looks like, as our director Chris Sweeney had shown me on his phone, there is a storm coming through here, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. We thought maybe there was a chance here in this game, and that might be coming to fruition a little bit later, but it is getting a lot darker here at Hofstra.
Clouds are coming in. We can get Pat Pizzarelli to put the lights on.
Somebody here is going to put the lights on. We don't know who, but somebody's going to. I hear the phone ringing. That might be the call right now to get the lights on. As you can, people can't see, but to our left, it is definitely very dark, and that could be a factor here, but maybe it'll come through at halftime.
Yeah, there is a soccer game going on at the Hofstra Soccer Stadium across the street, so they might get hit with the rain first over there before it makes its way over here. 4th and 2 at the 49. And the give is to Tawkas around the right side. Does he get it? Yes, I think he does around the right side. He just was able to get across, evade a tackler, and it's a first down for Cold Spring Harbor inside Seaford territory with 1:15 to go.
Very big conversion here by Cold Spring Harbor, not giving Seaford the ball back at midfield. And that's just hard-nosed running by Tawkas. He knows he needs the sticks, and he makes the diving effort to get it. And now when you reset, you take a look here. Cold Spring Harbor out of timeouts with 75 seconds, and they like to run the ball. At some point, you have to put in the air if you want points.
Here's Riley back to pass, throws over the middle. Pass is complete to Rogers down inside the 35-yard line, down to the 32. They hurry up to the line. Let's see if they spike it. They're going to go right back to their offense. 109, 107. Riley back to pass. Looking near side. Pass is complete, this time to O'Connor. He gets down inside the 30-yard line. Stays obviously in bounds, so the clock continues to run. It's not a first down. Inside 50 seconds to go.
Right, and you just traded 20 seconds for a 40-yard gain. You need to look further down the field here if you're Cold Spring Harbor.
2nd and 6. Riley back to pass again. Throws to the far side. Was looking for Rogers. Overthrown at the 10-yard line.
So a chance for the Cold Spring Harbor Seahawks to reset now here. You need 6 yards for the clock to stop and the chains to move. And you don't want to go in the middle of the field here, Pete, because you don't have any timeouts left. So you want to try to go to the sidelines if you can to convert this 3rd and 6. If not, you're probably going for it on 4th anyways.
3rd down and 6 from the 29. Actually, the 28. So it really is more like a 3rd and 5 at the 28. Rogers lines up to the far side, along with Thomas Samuels in the slot. Riley gives to Tawkas on the delayed handoff, and he is met with a bevy of green jerseys for a loss back to the 32.
Yeah, I'm okay with that play call by Cold Spring Harbor. Try to run a draw right there. Also try for Seaford to burn a timeout. I think Seaford is content just to go into the locker room 15-14. And I would be surprised. Wow, they're going to attempt a field goal here?
A 48-yard field goal attempt is going to be attempted here by Michael Schmidt. And it's going to be well short.
Well,
of the
hold
goal
on.
line.
Seaford can return this.
Absolutely. To the far side. To the far side. This is Rauchi, who brought it up across the 25-yard line before he was brought down. And that brings us to the end of the first half with the score. A very, very entertaining first half. Cold Spring Harbor 15, Seaford 14 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Teed off by shoulder pain? We've got specialists for that. Realizing you've pulled out more than weeds? We've got specialists for that. Doing the twist making you shout? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
Strand. Inside handoff this time. Look at a spin. Campbell breaks the tackle. Breaks into the secondary. Jackson Campbell. Touchdown, Northport.
With 4 passing touchdowns tonight. Give to the right side. Back it comes for McKee. He loads up and fires wide open at the 10-yard line was Logan Lyson.
Second and goal from the 15. Look out. Kelly under pressure gets out of it. Interception at the 10-yard line. And look at this return to the 20, the 30. There's blockers up the field. From the 10 to the end zone. Touchdown, Ward Melville.
Varsity Media top 10. There we go, right there. Who needs Sports Center when you got Varsity Media top 10?
Welcome back here to Hofstra University on the Varsity Media Sports Network. It's the Orland and Cohen Game of the Week with the Seahawks ahead of the Vikings 15-14 at halftime. Ben Turchin joined alongside Dr. James Pacey. It's a pleasure to have you on board. First of all, thank you so much for your title sponsorship with Varsity Media the entire football season. It's great that you guys came on board. We were able to produce some of these games around Long Island, and we just wanted to thank you first and foremost.
Well, we appreciate everything that you guys have done this season, and to really spotlight these kids, it's been outstanding. We really love high school sports at Orland and Cohen, and most of us grew up around Long Island and played sports on Long Island, so everything that we can do to help this next generation stay healthy and stay on the field, that's what we're here for.
Talk a little bit about your presence on the island. I know we were talking off the air. You guys are everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, our footprint now runs literally from Staten Island to Southampton. We have offices throughout Nassau and Suffolk counties, and we have relationships with many of the school districts throughout the island, and we have an army of people out covering games and helping these kids to stay healthy and stay active.
And you have some of the best physicians around, and I know you kind of space them out all over. What exactly are they doing? What is the objective when they're out at the games?
When we're here, we're here to keep an eye on the kids. We're looking out for, big hits that may cause an injury. Obviously, head injuries have been highlighted over the last several years, so something particular that we keep an eye out for. Concussions have been a big thing. But more than anything, we're here as a resource for the athletic trainers to support them in keeping these kids healthy, safe, and on the field.
I know you have a very comprehensive orthopedic program, and you were telling me it starts with your sports medicine. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How does that work? And you guys seem like the leaders in this kind of industry when it comes to that.
So, sports medicine encompasses so many things, from our physicians who are all fellowship trained in sports medicine, all the way down to our athletic trainers and our physical therapy staff who are trained to specifically take care of athletes. We've got comprehensive physical therapy throughout our program for everything from spine pain, back injuries, arthritic pain, things along those lines, post-operatively treating complex situations like ACL reconstructions and rotator cuff repairs and things along those lines. And our orthopedic program runs the gamut as well. We have spine surgeons, we have foot and ankle surgeons, we have total joint surgeons, and we have a very big staff of sports medicine physicians. And the reason that we have that many sports medicine physicians is we're sort of the Swiss Army knife of orthopedics. We do a little bit of everything and really can help every patient in one way or another, and then get you to the right specialist if it's something beyond what our sports staff does.
Bottom line, to sum it up, if you're an athlete, and hopefully you're not, but if you get injured, they should come to see you. You guys are the guys. There's not an injury you haven't seen before, and you really can treat them orthopedically.
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't anything that we can't treat orthopedically at Orland and Cohen, and we have what we think is the best sports medicine team on Long Island.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, we know that. You guys are ubiquitous. You're all over the place. We want to thank you again, Dr. James Pacey, for all that you've done for Varsity Media Broadcast and for the community of Long Island to watch our games free on the YouTube network. We wish you the best of luck moving forward, and hopefully we finish off this second half. The weather's rolling in here. We'll see.
It looks like we're going to be in a little delay here. We'll see how long it lasts. Hopefully we can get the rest of this one in.
All right, we're going to take another time out. Of course, we've got our Shrimpies Burrito food review coming up here at halftime, and we'll see about the weather, if it cooperates or if we'll be in a weather delay. Stick with us. Plenty more to do here. Second half action coming your way on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
It's time to get hyped with Varsity Media. We offer an array of video services sure to amp up your team. From staged preseason hype videos with custom lighting and smoke machines to sideline highlights of a big game. How can your team stand out from the crowd? Contact Varsity Media today and let us tailor something your squad will never forget. These are the best times of your life. Capture them in the most creative ways possible with the sports leader, Varsity Media.
Not feeling the love after your last tennis match? We've got specialists for that. Running for the train, derail your knee? We've got specialists for that. Diving after that grounder, leaving you grounded? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
Parents and athletes, why leave your college career in the hands of amateurs? Varsity Media produces professional college recruiting videos that you can use to help land a spot on the team. Our highlight reels have proven to save thousands of dollars in college tuition. You've worked hard and put the effort into your high school athletic career. Don't take any chances when it comes to your future. Varsity Media has been producing college recruiting videos since 2010. We understand what college coaches are looking for, and our attention to detail on your highlights will separate your resume from others. Stand out from the crowd. We'll help showcase your talents. Contact Varsity Media today and order a college recruiting video. Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Teed off by shoulder pain? We've got specialists for that. Realizing you've pulled out more than weeds? We've got specialists for that. Doing the twist making you shout? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. so you can feel better faster.
Touchdown to Allstrand. Inside handoff this time. Look at a spin. Campbell breaks the tackle. Breaks into the secondary. Jackson Campbell. Touchdown, Northport.
With 4 passing touchdowns tonight. Give to the right side. Back it comes for McKee. He loads up and fires wide open at the 10-yard line was Logan Lyson.
Second and goal from the 15. Look out. Kelly under pressure gets out of it. Interception at the 10-yard line. And look at this return to the 20, the 30. There's blockers up the field. From the 10 to the end zone. Touchdown, Ward Melville.
Varsity Media top 10. There we go, right there. Who needs Sports Center when you got Varsity Media top 10?
Welcome back here. It's the Varsity Media Sports Network. Halftime in a weather delay from Hofstra. Cold Spring Harbor ahead of Seaford, 15-14. All right, Mr. Schwartz, are you ready for the food review?
I am ready. I've been looking forward to this for days.
Shrimpy's Burrito Bar. We want to thank Shrimpy's for dropping off some burritos and some tacos that we're about to try here. They're located in Massapequa Park. They're also located in Huntington, and it's great in this game because you've got Seaford, which is only a hop, skip, and a jump away from Massapequa, and you've got Cold Spring Harbor, which is a town away from Huntington.
Yes.
So if you're watching this game right now, and whether you're hungry or you're thinking about a place to go to, we're thinking Shrimpy Burrito Bar might be the place for you tonight.
And it is, absolutely.
Yeah.
You got great locations, and judging by the looks of this, I think we're going to enjoy this very, very much.
So if you're in the Massapequa area, there's the phone number on the screen, 516-797-3299. And if you're in the Huntington area, we're going to throw that up there for you here in a second because they've got a phone number and an address as well, 631-312-5588. So those are the phone numbers to call. They do delivery, pickup, catering, the whole nine. They even have a truck. They have a Shrimpy's truck that drives around from here to there. So without further ado, what do you got here? What are you trying out
This
of here?
is the Bang Bang Taco.
Pete's got the Bang Bang Taco. I've got the Strong Island Burrito.
That's really looking good, too.
Yeah, this is there's a lot in here. We got some steak and some shrimp. All right, you know what we do? We take a bite out of this, and then we give you the review. So let's
we go one at a time, or we do it at the same time?
Do it at the same time. Why not? All right, let's
sure.
let's
Absolutely.
go.
Let's go.
Give it a shot.
Oh, my God, that's really good.
A lot of flavors popping right now.
Yeah, there's a very hot, tangy taste to it. Very, very rich. I really like it. Really good stuff. You get a lot of different things going on in one bite.
The Strong Island burrito that I just tried, you've got steak in here, you've got shrimp, you've got rice, you've got cheese. Absolutely delicious. Flavors popping out everywhere. What more can you say about this place? Shrimpy's Burrito Bar, specials every Tuesday and Thursday. Taco Tuesdays, thirsty burritos on Thursdays. And how about this? If you mention this review, Varsity Media, 15% off.
That's a great deal.
Great deal on all the food.
And the chicken in here is delicious.
Chicken,
unbelievable.
So he had Pete sampled some chicken. I had some steak and shrimp inside the burrito. What more can you ask for? We're going to take a time out because we're starving and we want to finish this up. But there's a weather delay. So if you're at home in Seaford or you're at home at Cold Spring Harbor, you've got time right now to get to Shrimpy's Burrito Bar or at least call them for some catering or some pickup or some delivery and get yourself some Shrimpy's like we're going to do right now.
This is outstanding. Absolutely. Get down to Shrimpy's. This is delicious.
Get down to Shrimpy's. Tell them Pete and Ben sent you. And don't forget, 15% off. We're going to take another time out. We're in a weather delay here at Hofstra. We'll come back and give you some updates on that while we finish our food on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Teed off by shoulder pain? We've got specialists for that. Realizing you've pulled out more than weeds? We've got specialists for that. Doing the twist making you shout? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
Inside handoff this time. Look at a spin. Campbell breaks the tackle. Breaks into the secondary. Jackson Campbell. Touchdown, Northport.
With 4 passing touchdowns tonight. Give to the right side. Back it comes for McKee. He loads up and fires wide open at the 10-yard line was Logan Lyson.
Second and goal from the 15. Look out. Kelly under pressure gets out of it. Interception at the 10-yard line. And look at this return to the 20 the 30. There's blockers up the field. From the 10 to the end zone. Touchdown, Ward Melville.
Varsity Media top 10. There we go, right there. Who needs Sports Center when you got Varsity Media top 10?
It's time to get hyped with Varsity Media. We offer an array of video services sure to amp up your team. From staged preseason hype videos with custom lighting and smoke machines to sideline highlights of a big game. How can your team stand out from the crowd? Contact Varsity Media today and let us tailor something your squad will never forget. These are the best times of your life. Capture them in the most creative ways possible with the sports leader, Varsity Media.
Not feeling the love after your last tennis match? We've got specialists for that. Running for the train, derail your knee? We've got specialists for that. Diving after that grounder, leaving you grounded? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
Parents and athletes, why leave your college career in the hands of amateurs? Varsity Media produces professional college recruiting videos that you can use to help land a spot on the team. Our highlight reels have proven to save thousands of dollars in college tuition. You've worked hard and put the effort into your high school athletic career. Don't take any chances when it comes to your future. Varsity Media has been producing college recruiting videos since 2010. We understand what college coaches are looking for, and our attention to detail on your highlights will separate your resume from others. Stand out from the crowd. We'll help showcase your talents. Contact Varsity Media today and order a college recruiting video. Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Teed off by shoulder pain? We've got specialists for that. Realizing you've pulled out more than weeds? We've got specialists for that. Doing the twist making you shout? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
touchdown to Allstrand. Inside handoff this time. Look at a spin. Campbell breaks the tackle. Breaks into the secondary. Jackson Campbell. Touchdown, Northport.
With 4 passing touchdowns tonight. Give to the right side. Back it comes for McKee. He loads up and fires wide open at the 10-yard line was Logan Lyson.
Second and goal from the 15. Look out. Kelly under pressure gets out of it. Interception at the 10-yard line. And look at this return to the 20, the 30. There's blockers up the field. From the 10 to the end zone. Touchdown, Ward Melville.
Varsity Media top 10. There we go, right there. Who needs Sports Center when you got Varsity Media top 10?
We are back at Seward Stadium on the campus of Hofstra University. Peter Schwartz, Ben Turchin. We're at halftime of the Seaford Cold Spring Harbor game with Cold Spring Harbor ahead of Seaford by a score of 15-14. We're in a weather delay here at Hofstra. Not long ago, when the teams went to the locker room at halftime, the game was officially put into the weather delay. It got very, very dark here. And then the rain started, and there were some power surges in the area. We know that there's been a tornado warning in the area, but as of right now, the plan is still to resume this game. And then there's still 2 more games for Conference 2 later on today, so we'll have to find out what the status of those games will be. But for now, we certainly anticipate Seaford and Cold Spring Harbor coming back on the field at some point to finish what has been a very exciting game so far, Ben.
Yeah, Pete, I've heard of long halftimes, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah. We didn't even get J-Lo and Shakira yet, you know.
Yeah, really. Obviously, we're teasing. Hope everybody is safe out there, depending on what town you're in, because it does sound like every town got hit here for the past half hour or so. But for those not familiar with the rules of high school football, it's a half hour from the last lightning strike. I don't think we've seen a lightning strike in the past 15 minutes or so. But they haven't given us an official resume play yet time. We'll obviously let you know that on the live stream broadcast once we know. But, again, it's still dark skies out there, and it's anybody's guess when we get back on the field. And
when these things kind of happen, whether it's the NFL or college or high school, you always wonder, well, you know, which team does it affect more when the play does resume? And I really think this is going to have the same effect on both teams. It's a 15-14 game. Both teams have run the ball well. They've stuck to their game plan, and I think basically it's basically an even game anyway. So I don't really think that the delay is going to have more of an effect on one team than the other.
No, if anything, I would say you're just going to have to keep an eye on who kept warm in the locker room, who kept their legs fresh and warm, and you don't want to have cramping, and you don't want to warm up and then go cold and then come back on the field. So whichever team had the trainers in the locker room doing the better job, they might actually get off to a fast start in the second half.
Well, from prior experience of being involved in games in this stadium, I would probably think if you were going to give any kind of advantage in that case, it would probably be Seaford, because Seaford's locker room was in Margiata Hall, where the really good locker room is over there. And Cold Spring Harbor is in the dungeon, the visiting locker room under the bleachers on the far side of the stadium over there. And the only reason I know from experience is when I did public address for the Cosmos here for a number of years, and I always remember the visiting team complaining about the conditions in that locker room.
It might be something to keep an eye on.
So we'll have to find out if Cold Spring Harbor was all fine and dandy over there.
We want to just tell people that this is not the only game that we'll have today, of course. After this, you had alluded to it, we will have the Conference 2 semifinal game. Now, that was supposed to be a 5 o'clock kickoff. There ain't no way that's happening. So if you're a Garden City fan that hopped on here or a Cary fan, that's going to be a late kickoff. It's supposed to be 5 o'clock. It won't happen. And then rumors are already circulating here, not to start rumors, but will the MacArthur game slated for 8:30 that we'll have on
against Mepham.
Against Mepham, will that even happen tonight, depending on how far back we're delayed here?
Well, I'm already getting inundated with messages on that, and so is my son Bradley, because Bradley is a 10th grader at MacArthur on the JV football team, and everybody on the varsity team that knows him is texting him knowing that he's here, and parents are texting me knowing that I'm here, like, what's going to happen with the MacArthur game? Where can I park? What's going on over there? Are they going to play tonight? They're going to play tomorrow? I can't go tomorrow. It's like, you know, so we don't know.
We don't have answers.
We just don't know.
We don't have answers for you. But we wanted to come on and give an update. I think the next time we come on here, hopefully we'll have the start of the second half, so just stay tuned. We're going to put the weather delay graphic back on. Nobody likes – you hate the weather delay graphic, right?
Yeah.
When you see that, I'm a Mets fan. When you see that and you know that you don't have Gary, Keith, and Ron, it's frustrating.
Yeah, you know, and I remember growing up and going to games at the old Yankee Stadium, and they used to, whenever there was a rain delay, they always had that one shot on the Jumbotron of the umpires. It was like, it's a famous painting, and it's the umpires holding their hand up in the air, and then the rain is coming down. And I kind of feel sad like that now, only because, you know, we want to call a football game. You know?
And it's not even rain. So if you're in the area and you're saying, well, Pete and Ben, it's not raining. You're right, it's not raining, but we have a lightning delay rule that we have to get through. So it's just a matter of when was the last lightning strike, and 30 minutes after that, and then the officials have the final call when they feel it's safe, not only for the players, but we should let you know, nobody is in the stadium right now. All of the fans and parents were told to leave the facility.
Yeah, well, I know initially they were told to go back under the bleachers, but I think they've all had to go back to their cars until they find out what's going on.
Which is protocol. But hopefully the Storm is a fast mover, and hopefully we get back to the second half as soon as possible. So we'll take another break. We'll put you back in the weather delay, and we'll be back on for the second half.
Still some time to get the shrimpies.
Oh, yeah, shrimpies, absolutely. You've had over an hour here to get shrimpies now. You should be home already enjoying it, whether you're in Cold Spring Harbor, if you hit their Huntington location, and whether you're in Seaford, if you hit their Massapequa Park location. We really enjoyed that burrito and taco. Hopefully they get some as well.
I hope so, too.
Yeah, hopefully
absolutely.
you guys do it over there. So we'll be back with the second half when we get the okay.
Yeah, we will be back right here at second half of Seaford and Cold Spring Harbor coming up as soon as the weathermen and the officials tell us that it's okay. We'll be back with more very, very soon.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Behind the back! Are you serious? No hesitation on the shot. Ms. Rice feeling it. Make it 3 for 3. And Ciolino, see you later. Here's a chance for Sias, and there's a shot and a goal.
Will Spare will take it all the way. Touchdown Seahawks.
The extra look and the goal. A gorgeous goal by
With rainbows setting the backdrop here at Hofstra, we are back for the second half of our second Conference 4 semifinal here at Seward Stadium as Seaford and Cold Spring Harbor battling here on Varsity Media. Cold Spring Harbor leading 15-14 at halftime. Peter Schwartz, Ben Turchin, back with you after a very lengthy rain delay as there was rain, there was wind, there was a little bit of hail, a tornado striking down on Long Island not far from here. So after all of that, the sun is out, the rainbows are in the sky, and we're ready for a second half of football.
That's what I call halftime entertainment right there. Well, I hope everybody is safe in the area because we know there's some tornadoes that touch down. I don't know the extent of them, but we heard some reports out there. But, yeah, we're back. Everybody is allowed back into the bleachers, and we're just ready for the second half. It feels like Game 3 at this point.
Cold Spring Harbor will kick it off. Seaford will receive the second half kickoff, and for those who forgot or were not with us in the first half, it was a very entertaining first 24 minutes of football. A lot of play on the ground, but both teams scoring on their first two possessions. Cold Spring Harbor coming up just a little bit short on their last possession before the half. Here's the kickoff. It bounces around. Seaford has it at the 29-yard line, and they will go back on offense to start this third quarter, and really not much to complain about if you're either head coach. Have to be happy with the way things went in that first half.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to just let the people at home or watching wherever may know, the weather has changed. It was beautiful in the first half, and now it's tremendously cold and windy down there on the field. I had a chance to get down there during the delay, and Pete, you and I were on the field in between games. We were talking about how balmy it is and what month are we in.
Yeah.
Now it feels different, so we'll see if the elements play a part here in the second half.
Now it feels like November football. So right to left will go the Seaford Vikings in this third quarter. Kyle Stark under center. And the give up the middle, and that's Barone, who takes it up across the 30 to the 35-yard line.
What you want to keep an eye on is cramping. How are the players reacting to that hour-long break? It's something they're not used to. Halftime is usually 15, 20 minutes long. I think this break was over an hour. So we need to keep an eye on how the legs look and hope that all these players continue to stay healthy in this game.
2nd down and 4 from the 35. Pitch and the give back to McGew across the 35-yard line to the 36.
Jesse Phelan was not confused at all on that play. Seaford didn't trick him, and that was a nice tackle by number 42 for Cold Spring Harbor.
Got a couple of yards on the play. It brings up 3rd and 3 at the 36. And just a reminder, there's also 2 Conference 2 semifinal games coming up here at Hofstra, or scheduled here at Hofstra later today, so we'll keep you posted as to the delays of the Garden City Cary game, and also Mepham and MacArthur scheduled for tonight, so stay tuned for that. So 3rd down and 3 from the 36. And the give straight up the middle, McGew, and he is close. Let's see where they spot this down. Judging by where the official walked up from the sideline, this looks to be a first down. And, yes, there is the signal, a first down for Seaford at the 39-yard line.
Yeah, Seaford is doing what they did all the first half, which is run the football effectively, moving the chains. And I think with the weather changing a little bit and it becoming even windier here at Hofstra, you might see an extra dose of running here in the second half.
And the give along the left side and ripped down at the 41-yard line is Barone.
Jake Rogers with the open field tackle, and we could see it clear as day from up here. If he doesn't make that tackle, Barone is gone. It's a touchdown for Seaford.
Yeah, he had plenty of room around the outside on the edge.
Cold Spring Harbor has a lot of athletes. A lot of these players on the football team play multiple sports. Same with Seaford. You got lacrosse players on these teams. Rogers is just another one of these athletes that comes through Cold Spring Harbor, and he made a very athletic play there on the tackle.
2nd and 8. In motion goes Arauchi. And here's the give up the middle across the 40 to the 44-yard line. That was McGew.
Yeah, David Stern, number 51, the sophomore linebacker, stepping up to greet him there on the tackle. And this is the first time, I think, all game, Seaford finds himself in like a 3rd and more than 3, which we haven't said or seen in a long time.
Very successful running game, so you have to admit this is where they're going to probably stick to the ground here. McGew in the backfield. He gets the pitch, comes this way, and comes up to the midfield stripe, and he's got the first down.
The blocking was tremendous. 63 and 85 for Seaford. Joe Alzheimer in on the blocks. Jack Murphy, who's a senior captain, number 85. And as you take another look, when you're opening up holes like this, it's very easy for the running back to get those extra yards, and it was enough for the first down.
Yeah, I think he might have gotten a really good spot, having looked at the replay. His knee might have been down before the ball got to the first down marker. He gets the pitch again to the right side with a flag down, gets up down near the 45, 46-yard line, but we'll see what the flag is. It's actually going to be an offsides on Seaford. Oh, they're calling it a chop block, not offsides. It's a chop block on Seaford. So that's going to cost them dearly here to moving backwards.
And that's exactly what Cold Spring Harbor wants to see here. You need something to take Seaford out of what they want to do offensively. And a 1st and 20 is something that Cold Spring Harbor is signing up for here right now. Now, defensively for Cold Spring Harbor, you got to make sure you don't give up a big play because you have them right where you want them in a 1st and 20 scenario.
1st and 20 for Seaford from their own 40. And the give is to Arguello. He gets a few yards up to the 43 or 44 before he's brought down. That's his 2nd carry of the game. Didn't have much room there, met by a bevy of white jerseys. But he gets to the 44, and that brings up 2nd and 16.
And that, again, Cold Spring Harbor will take that here. So you got 2 cracks here to stop Seaford, and hopefully if you're Cold Spring Harbor, you don't want it to be like a 3rd and 3 or 4 because they'll go for it. So you want to keep them in this kind of territory to get the ball back offensively if you're Cold Spring Harbor.
And here's the pitch to McGew. Gets up near midfield, across midfield, down to about the 47-yard line or so.
Aiden McKean, as we're going to see on the replay, 58 for Cold Spring Harbor. He's been busy. He's lining up on the bottom of your screen. But watch him shed the block and stay with it, Pete. That's a great hustle play if you're 58 for Cold Spring Harbor. Coach Mendreski's going to be happy when he watches that back on film. I would say this to you. We're inside Cold Spring Harbor territory. I still think it's 2 downs here for Seaford.
I would agree so. And they went from a 1st and 20 to a very manageable 3rd down and 8. And movement, and that looked like it was going to go on Seaford. Looked like
Alzheimer.
Yeah, 63.
Yeah, you don't want to see that here. Coach Corcoran can't be happy. Now, one of the things we talked about is how would it affect both teams coming out of the locker room after this hour-long delay plus, and we've seen 2 uncharacteristic penalties on the Seaford offense so far.
Yeah, not the way that they drew this up. They are running the ball effectively, but the more mistakes you made, you keep pushing yourself back. You're giving Cold Spring Harbor more of a chance to finish off a drive defensively. Man in motion towards the bottom of your screen. The pitch is to McHugh around the right side. A little bit of room. Tries to evade a tackler. He does one time, two times, but then finally brought down at the 45-yard line. It's going to bring up a 4th down and about 5.
Well, tell me, how do you tackle McHugh? Because Cold Spring Harbor's asking themselves that question. You think you have him right here coming off the edge.
Right. Gets away from that one.
Yeah, he cuts back, and you've got 3 Cold Spring Harbor defenders. And finally, it takes like a wrestling move from David Stern, number 51, just to get him on the carpet.
They spot McHugh down at the 46-yard line. The official just wiping down the ball also. So it's a 4th and 6 from the 46.
It's the biggest play we've had in this game so far.
And here's the pitch. And brought down well short of the first down is McHugh, as he was met by a couple of white shirts at the 45-yard line, and it's a turnover on downs, and Cold Spring Harbor comes up with a huge stop here with 5:17 to go in this third quarter. Think about it, Ben. Seaford comes out, opening drive, they move the ball, they take almost over 6 minutes off the clock, and they come up with nothing.
Yeah, I'd give credit there to Michael Degnan, number 53, one of the senior captains. He shed his block and was able to make that tackle. Seaford had success with that pitch play, getting 2 offensive linemen to create the seam. That time, Cold Spring Harbor stuffed it out.
1st and 10 for Cold Spring Harbor. Here's Tawkas. Not much room there at all. Barely got back to the line of scrimmage as he tried the left side. A whole bunch of green jerseys right there, including Anthony Arguello.
Well, Seaford, give them credit. You know, momentum swung a little bit here in the hands of Cold Spring Harbor. They didn't get the 4th down conversion, but the defense has been very stingy for Seaford, and it's a 2nd and long situation here for the Seahawks.
No gain on that run by Tawkas, so it brings up 2nd and 10 from the 45. Jake Rogers flanked out far side, top of your screen. Caden O'Connor on the bottom, on the right side. And here's a keeper by Riley around the right side. He's got a 1st down, still going. Inside the 30, inside the 20. There he goes, inside the 5. Touchdown, Cold Spring Harbor. C.J. Riley goes 55 yards.
That's a backbreaker. There's no other way to say it. Let's take another look at this. It's a track meet at this point once it gets through the line of scrimmage, and there's not a Seaford Viking that could catch up with that speed. We talked about the athleticism that Cold Spring Harbor showcases on the field. C.J. Riley is that guy, an ultimate athlete, and he shows it to you right there, Pete. That's just an incredible run.
Incredible run, and they go for the extra point here. Michael Schmidt is going to come out, and
we got a flag on the field. We either have a timeout or a flag, one or the other. Sideline warning on Seaford. But they're in the Cold Spring Harbor's in the driver's seat here, Pete. They don't need to go for 2. They're already up 7. So the extra point gives them the 8-point lead.
It's a sideline warning, but trying to figure out why both teams are off to the sideline here.
I think there was a timeout called. I think you did get a timeout. I don't know if they've awarded it to either team yet. I thought Cold Spring Harbor called the timeout on the point after attempt because they weren't settled in.
Yeah, the scoreboard still has 3 timeouts for both teams. So we'll see out of this timeout here which team actually called timeout and what actually happened there. But now both teams back onto the field as we'll see if they go for the extra point or do they go for 2.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if they didn't try the extra point here. I don't know.
Yeah,
what,
they're going.
Yeah, I don't know what advantage you have in going for 2 when you're already up 7. I mean, you'd want it would be a 2-score game at that point, but you don't really need that.
It's Michael Schmidt for the extra point, and the hold will be out of Caden Connor. So Caden O'Connor will hold Michael Schmidt for the extra point.
And have offsides here. Oh, they are going for 2.
And he's going to go for 2, and the whistle's blew. There was a flag down before the play even happened.
Yeah, clearly offsides on Seaford. But now, Pete, this is interesting because Seaford saw what Cold Spring Harbor wanted to do. So if you're Coach Mandreski, the ball moves a little closer now. Do you rethink your play call here?
Well, now you move a little closer. Now you might just go for a more traditional two-point
Well, it's
conversion.
a lot easier of a play now. You only need a yard to get in, and you already have the 7-point lead. So I could see why you'd want to try a 2-point conversion. Again, I said it a second ago, if you make this, it's a 2-score game, which is huge in this game with only 4:20 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's a lightning quick, no pun intended, lightning quick third quarter so far.
And the way that, Seaford does need a lot of time to execute their offense, to operate offensively, takes up minutes. If you punch this in, 2 scores, that's a big deal here if you're Cold Spring Harbor.
And there's the give to Tawkas towards
get in?
the
I don't
goal
think
line.
so.
No, he did not. He did not. Seaford holds on the 2-point conversion, maintains a 7-point deficit. So Cold Spring Harbor gets the touchdown. They don't get the 2-point conversion. 4:21 to go in the third quarter. Cold Spring Harbor on top, 21-14 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403.
Off the ensuing kickoff, Seaford just falls on the ball on the far side of the field as they get the ball back after giving up another touchdown. That was Anthony Barone who fell on the football. And as we come back, Peter Schwartz, Ben Turchin back here at Hofstra Stadium, 4:16 to go, third quarter, and Cold Spring Harbor on top of Seaford, 21-14. Seaford came in 9-0, and I cannot remember the last time they were in a situation like this, down by 7 with this little time left in the game.
Yeah, they've pretty much dominated all year long, and they beat Cold Spring Harbor 19-0 in Cold Spring Harbor's first game of the year, but you just knew that the Seahawks would give them a better fight today, and we've seen that. I will say this.
As McHugh runs up the middle for 5.
This game is far from over. It's only a one-possession game, and we've seen teams go for 2 for a win. We saw it last night, Lindenhurst, Northport. So just because you have a 7-point lead, that doesn't mean you should sleep easy right now or rest easy if you're Cold Spring Harbor.
Absolutely not, but this has to be a surprising development so far for anybody who follows high school football on Long Island. Here's the pitch to McHugh, and now the inside give back to Barone, and he shakes a tackle, gets across the 35 to the 40-yard line, and that's a first down for Seaford on a little bit of trickery there.
Michael Dagnan is having himself a nice second half. Take a look at 53. He's going to get off that block, and he's going to force the running back to trip up just a little bit and allow some of his secondary players to make the tackle. But that all started by 53 for Cold Spring Harbor. Seaford still gets some yards, but Cold Spring Harbor getting him down.
1st and 10 from the 40. They shift around formation. And here's a give up the middle to McHugh, and McHugh gets across the 40 and up near the 45-yard line.
Just a point of emphasis on Seaford's prior possession here to start the second half. Remember, it wasn't so much that Cold Spring Harbor stopped them. It was 2 unfortunate penalties that backed Seaford up and couldn't convert on a 4th and 6. So you take away those penalties, they continue to march the football down the field.
Inside of 3 minutes to go in this third quarter, and a 2nd down and 6 for the Vikings. And here's McHugh. Hops over a would-be tackler and goes down at the 48-yard line. So a little leap there for McHugh and gets them to within 3rd down and 2.
That time it was number 5, Charles Tawkas, the senior captain, who tripped him up there. But now we have a 3rd and very manageable for Seaford, and you know it's 2 down territory for the Vikings.
And you would guess you're going to get the ball into the hands of number 1.
Yeah, and they have 2 cracks at it. I mean, they could convert right here on a 3rd and short, but they'll be going for it again on 4th.
3rd down and 2. No, it's Arguello up the middle.
It's going to be close.
Very, very close.
I don't think he got it.
Arguello, the fullback, got the handoff after the fake pitch to McHugh, and they are very, very close. They may have to bring the sticks out to take a look at this.
Well,
yes.
It's interesting because on the near side, you see a full yard short. On the far side, those sticks show you that it's almost like a first down.
Yeah,
so
but you can't go by that because having been on chain gangs before, you'd be begging people to try and help do that. They don't know what they're doing.
But what's interesting is they're not calling out the near side. They're actually having the far side sticks come in for the measurement.
Yes.
The referee should have the accurate measurement. I'm going to say they're going to be about a yard short here.
Let's see. A little bit short.
Yep.
A little bit short.
If you're the Vikings, you have to have this. And if you're Cold Spring Harbor, if you somehow stop Seaford back-to-back 4th downs, that is some unbelievable momentum for your team.
It is literally 4th and inches for a first down for Seaford and a really critical play in this game. Inside of 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, Seaford is trailing by 7. Like you said, they stop them here and then score again, and Seaford's in big trouble.
And on the 3rd down, they didn't go to McHugh. I think they're going to go to McHugh here.
Let's see if there's a sneak. They give us to McHugh straight up the middle, and he's got the first down. He's got the first down. He's down to about the 48-yard line.
Yeah, when it's a money play, you got to go to your money player. And that, of course, is the senior running back, James McHugh. And the blocking was there up front for Seaford. They bring in the fullback, and McHugh cleans it up.
A big hole right there up the middle. Now a 1st and 10 from the 48. And near side run is McHugh again, down inside the 50 and close to the 45-yard line.
Linebackers are having a great game here for Cold Spring Harbor defensively. That time it was Aiden McKee, number 58, who stopped the momentum on that run, and then cleaning up the damage was Michael Degnan. We've mentioned Degnan's name 3 times already in here in the 3rd quarter. Both of those guys are senior captains, number 58 and number 53, doing a great job defensively for the Seahawks.
2nd and 7 from the 45. Here's a pass to the far side to Rouchy, and Rouchy's got it. Excuse me, I'm sorry, that was Jack Murphy who made the reception, the tight end Murphy on the far side, and he gets it down to the 40-yard line, and it'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Yeah, we've got an injured Seaford Viking down. I really like the play call that time by Coach Corcoran and his offense. Try to go out into the flat, try to get some blocking, and straight line it down the other way. But give credit to Cold Spring Harbor. Caden O'Connor, number 2, he sniffed that out the whole way, made the tackle. Another one of those open field tackles that we've seen Cold Spring Harbor make in this game today. If you don't make that, Pete, that could be 6 going the other way.
No question about it. It was a huge play with 14 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter. And Seaford on the move here, trying to find the game-tying touchdown. As they attend to the injury on the field, we'll take a timeout. You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Over the middle, he's got a man. It's complete. Ciolino. See you later.
Going long, wide open, Perazzi, he gets it, Perazzi, foot raise, 10, 5, make it, touchdown, punch, counter punch.
The trickery, Ryder gets it back, goes over the top for Haberman. What a catch!
This Ross Simmons strips him, that's loose, and Ross Simmons is going to take this in the other direction. Make it, touchdown, touchdown East.
We're back here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Of course, we want to thank our sponsors for making this game possible and presenting it live and free for our viewing audience. Lynbrook Swag. We want to thank Lynbrook Swag for sponsoring today's game. For the best embroidery and custom apparel, call them at 516-705-5555. 5888. Lindbrook Swag works with many sports teams around Long Island. They do Varsity Media's shirts, hats, all of our apparel. An excellent job. If you mention hashtag Buckeyes, you save 10%. Again, call them at 516-705-5888.
John Rauchi was the injured player taken off the field here by Seaford. And now 3rd down and 2 for the Vikings from the 40. A little trickery there, and it's Barone who winds up with the football, and he has a first down to the 31-yard line.
Seaford continues to just move those chains. They get enough offense or enough yards on that to convert on the 3rd down, and here we go again.
And that brings us to the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. Cold Spring Harbor 21, Seaford 14. You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network.
It's time to get hyped with Varsity Media. We offer an array of video services sure to amp up your team. From staged preseason hype videos with custom lighting and smoke machines to sideline highlights of a big game. How can your team stand out from the crowd? Contact Varsity Media today and let us tailor something your squad will never forget. These are the best times of your life. Capture them in the most creative ways possible with the sports leader, Varsity Media.
Peter Schwartz, Ben Turchin back at Hofstra University. We head to the 4th quarter with Cold Spring Harbor leading Seaford 21-14. We're in the 4th quarter of the 2nd semifinal. Here at Hofstra today, the winner to meet North Shore High School in the championship next week. McHugh with 25 rushes.
I think 122 yards.
Yeah, 25 rushes. Trying to read the video. 25 rushes, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns so far today for James McHugh. So now a 2nd down for Seaford from the 28-yard line after a gain of 4 on that last play. Chris Navin flanked out to the top of your screen on the left side. And the give is to Barone, who gets a couple down to the 26. And it'll bring up 3rd and 4. And we talked ad nauseum about this. You get Seaford into these manageable 3rd down and less than 5s, and they've been deadly on it.
Yeah, and assume that they convert here anyways is what they want. But these are 2-down territories for Seaford every single time. So in order to stop them, you need like a 3rd and 10. And that's why they're so successful.
3rd down and 4 from the 26. Arguello is the fullback. The give is to Barone around the right side, inside the 20, has a first down, finally pushed out at around the 17-yard line and pushed out by Caden O'Connor.
Yeah, take another look here at this run. You're going to see the offensive line is just going to push forward. Got 2 guys blocking downfield, setting the edge, and that's what freed up the running back for the first down there. Let's give some credit to number 24, Anthony Arguello, on the block.
1st and 10 from the 17. It's McHugh, right side of the line, still on his feet, bouncing away from a tackle, inside the 5-yard line, down to the 4. And that's going to be a 1st and goal for Seaford at the 4-yard line.
Like a spinning top as we're going to take another look here. This is all James McHugh, breaking tackles, keeping his feet moving, spins away from the defender right there. C.J. Riley gets another couple of yards, but he is so hard to take down.
He just would not go down until he got to the 4. Now they're knocking on the door to try to tie this game. 1st and goal at the 4. It's Barone, and there's nowhere to go.
And give credit to the Cold Spring Harbor front 4 on that time. They clogged the line of scrimmage. Seaford tried a little fake out there, but Cold Spring Harbor wasn't buying it, and that's a big stop there for the Seahawks.
So no gain, 2nd and goal at the 4. Another full house backfield with Arguello as the fullback. The pitch to McHugh, looking for a hole, spun down at the 3-yard line. Maybe a gain of a yard. Great pursuit there by the Cold Spring Harbor defense.
You know, I think that Cold Spring Harbor recognizes when that play is coming because we've seen Seaford run that. They had success early, but lately the Seahawks have stopped that pitch. So you almost wonder if there's a telltale or something going on with Seaford. But give credit to the Seahawks. They stepped up here, and they're going to have to do it again.
3rd down and goal from the 3. McHugh is the deep back. And he gets the handoff up the middle towards the goal line, and he is in for the touchdown. For the 3rd time today, James McHugh gets into the end zone. And now Seaford a point away from tying this game.
As you take a look again, and I was going to say a second ago, their best move is north-south. Get those big guys up front to push the line of scrimmage. As you see 76 and 77 open up the hole. Arguello doing a great job, too, as the fullback, clearing the lane out for the running back. You know, when they try the pitches around the end, they're not having as much success. But when they go north-south, Pete, is when Seaford is at their best.
There was a whistle before the extra point. Looked like a player on Cold Spring Harbor got a jump from the outside. So they're going to call this on Cold Spring Harbor, unless there was a timeout called. No, they're saying offsides on Cold Spring Harbor.
Now, we haven't mentioned Alex Morgeri's name, number 66 a lot, the junior center, but he's been doing a great job for Seaford. Paul Schultz, 77 as well. Those are some of the guys in on the push there for the touchdown for the Vikings.
So they move it half the distance. And they're going to go for it now because they move the ball to the 1-yard line after the penalty. Now Seaford's going to go for 2 to try to take the lead.
Wow, this is what we saw with Cold Spring Harbor. Remember, it was Seaford who had the penalty. Cold Spring Harbor went for 2. They didn't get it. And now an opportunity here. If Seaford does convert, they have the lead.
Who do you think gets the ball here?
I think it's going to be possibly the same exact play we just saw from the touchdown.
McHugh is the deep back. Now they shift. It's McHugh up the middle, and let's see. I don't think he got in.
They say no.
No. Cold Spring Harbor holds at the goal line, and Seaford is unable to even the score. 8:39 to go in this 4th quarter. Let's look at it again.
That's penetration. Tawkas, number 5, stepping up, causing the penetration and stopping the play.
And Andrew Stern, number 12, also got a hand on him as well and slowed him down. 8:39 to go in this 4th quarter. Cold Spring Harbor 21, Seaford 20 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Not feeling the love after your last tennis match? We've got specialists for that. Running for the train, derail your knee? We've got specialists for that. Diving after that grounder, leaving you grounded? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
Setting up for a dramatic finish here at Seward Stadium on the campus of Hofstra University. Conference 4 semifinal game number 2. We have 8:39 to go in this 4th quarter. Cold Spring Harbor on top of Seaford 21-20. Peter Schwartz, Ben Turchin here with you on what has been a very long day of football so far. A game that had a weather delay at halftime and is now into the 4th quarter, and the winner of this game to meet North Shore High School in the Conference 4 championship game next week here at Hofstra. And on the return, Cold Spring Harbor is going to get the ball 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line.
I don't think our final score will be 21-20. That's just a guess of mine. So I think one of these teams is going to punch it in at least one more time. So I wouldn't, if you're Seaford, I wouldn't get too crazy or too wrapped up in the fact that you're down a point right now. I think it was the right move to go for 2. You stop Cold Spring Harbor, get the ball back. There's plenty of time left in this game.
So Cold Spring Harbor will have it 1st and 10 from their own 27. North Shore High School waiting patiently to find out who they will meet in the championship game next weekend. Out of the shotgun, Riley. With the give to Tawkas up the middle. And Tawkas is able to bull his way up to the 30-yard line.
We have another injury here. It's the second time we've seen a Seaford Viking on the floor coming off of the long halftime delay, and that's something that we talked about, which team would be affected, and I think so far it's kind of affected Seaford here.
Yeah, there's no doubt they don't have the same crispness in their game that they had in the first half.
And as you see the trainer come onto the field, our camera guy's not showing it, but take our word for it. It is a cramped situation. And we talked about that, Pete, coming out of the halftime, to keep an eye on this kind of thing. And, you mentioned maybe they're not as sharp or not as crisp. This could be a reason why.
So while they attend to the injured player on the field, we'll step aside. 8:18 to go in the fourth quarter, and Cold Spring Harbor clinging to a 21-20 lead over Seaford. We'll be back with more on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 5.
A 2nd and 8 for Cold Spring Harbor from the 29-yard line. Riley keeps it himself around the right side and gets close to the first down across the 35-yard line to about the 37 or 38. Actually, they're going to spot him down at the 36, it looks like, so it'll be a couple of yards shy of the first down. The injured Seaford player was Anthony Arguello, and they have brought him over to the sideline to take a further look at him.
Yeah, and he's limping on the sideline. That's a big loss, not only defensively for Seaford, but some of the blocks that he was putting on offensively as the fullback, the lead block on the touchdown a short while ago. That's a tremendous loss, and we'll keep an eye on 24 for the Vikings.
3rd down, along 1. Riley out of the shotgun. And he gives to the left side, and nowhere to go. Tawkas on the carry, and he lost some yardage.
Tom Kofod, number 3, the senior linebacker, made that play happen. Take another look right here. He starts the whole thing. A missed block, and he doesn't let go of the running back. That's a tackle for loss and a decision now for Cold Spring Harbor.
4th down and 4.
I can't believe they're going to go for it here.
I don't understand this either, because if you don't get this, you're giving Seaford the ball in plus territory here.
They must, Coach Mandreski must have a play that he absolutely loves in this situation, and now he's going to call a timeout.
A timeout called by Cold Spring Harbor to talk this over. It might have been one of those things where they just wanted to see what Seaford was showing, and now they'll decide what they want to do.
I mean, you have a 1-point lead. I think you have to punt the football away. Make Seaford come the length of the field, and if they score on you, okay, they're the better team. You could live with that. But like you said, you don't want to give them the ball in your own territory at the 35-yard line, not Seaford.
I think it's easier to think about this and consider going for it if it's 4th and 1, 4th and less than 1. But it's 4th and 3, and unless you don't have confidence in your long snapper and your punter to do the job here, then I can't understand why you would do this.
I can't understand either. The only thing I could think maybe is they have a play that they've run that they love, and they think in this spot they can get it. That's about it. But let's see. They still may decide to ultimately punt the football here, and they're not even showing Seaford what they're going to do yet. How about this for gamesmanship? Yeah. Look at this formation.
The center puts the ball down, Reagan Riley just put the ball down. Now they come up to the line.
Yep. And
now they're going to punt.
Yep. Coach Mandreski, I don't think he ever was going to consider it. This is the right call.
Jake Rogers is set to punt this away. Oh, it's a fake. And he's going to run to the right side. Does he get it?
I think he
yes,
just
he
got
does.
it. I think
he
just got it.
He does a fake punt. Jake Rogers.
Let's see the spot. Wow.
He does get it. I'll say this. Let's look at the replay, and then I'll tell you something. It was a high snap, but it was clearly a fake from the beginning. And Rogers takes off. He knows exactly where he had to get to. A tremendous run by Rogers. They just didn't want to give the ball back to Seaford. Let's say at the end of the day, you don't want to give them back the ball.
Now, here's a question I had for you. He pumped it there. Was he intending to throw the ball, or is that part of the fake?
That might have been part of the fake. And now here's Riley on the keeper, straight up the middle. He's got a first down into Seaford territory. I think the thinking there wasn't that they didn't have faith in their punting unit or anything. I think the fact here, and we'll look at this play by Riley again, as Riley just has a huge hole to run through here.
Yep, there's a fullback, Tawkas, with a nice block, number 5, freeing him up there for the first down run.
I just think, Ben, they didn't want to give the ball back to Seaford. If you have a chance to keep the drive going, because now you're down inside of 6 minutes to go.
I think he played every card correct there. He called the timeout. He showed punt. Seaford thought, okay, he's going to retreat to the punt, and then you get the fake punt. That was brilliant coaching by Coach Mandreski.
Out of the shotgun, Riley gives to Tawkas. Left side. Down inside the 20, inside the 15-yard line, and brought down near the 10-yard line. What a run by Tawkas down the left side.
Backbreaker for Seaford. Let's take another look at this. There's an opening on the left side. Tawkas does the rest there. You're going to see a little bit of a stutter move. He thought to go inside. I'm going to come back outside. And that move right there at the 25.
Got him 10 more yards.
They got him 15 more yards. How about that? That's a great run by Tawkas.
And it's a 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line for Cold Spring Harbor with a 1-point lead with less than 5 minutes to go.
And what would your rush be if you're Cold Spring Harbor here? You want the clock to go down as much as possible. You still obviously want to put this in for the touchdown, but no rush if you're the Seahawks.
And they give us to Tawkas up the middle. And not much there.
Seaford has all 3 timeouts left available to them.
He got a little more than a yard, maybe 2. And the ball down to the 12-yard line. For the people that are rooting for Seaford that are here or watching have to be absolutely stunned at what they've seen here over the course of this afternoon.
But I don't think it's over yet.
The pitch to Tawkas almost lost it, and that hesitation in trying to reel that ball back in allowed Seaford to penetrate and bring him down for a loss.
100% accurate there. That's exactly what happened. The penetration for the Viking defense came up, and now Cold Spring Harbor finds themselves in a 3rd and long, but we've seen them convert on these 3rd and long before, so I don't think this is anything that scares them. I kind of feel like they're going to go for it on 4th as well. I don't know if the field goal is going to do them anything. They'd only be up by 4 at that point. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cold Spring Harbor if we're in 2-down territory here.
So 3rd down and 10 from the 13-yard line with a full house backfield. And Riley moving under center. Riley taking himself around the right side, nowhere to go, and he is brought down after a gain of a yard, pushed back, but they'll give him forward progress down to about the 12-yard line.
Now, this is a big-time decision as well here for Cold Spring Harbor. I think you could live with the go for it here, as Seaford calls a timeout to stop the clock at 3:09. I think you could live, and here's what I'm saying. Does a field goal do anything for you at this time?
The only thing it does is it makes Seaford have to get a touchdown.
But they're going to go the length of the field and either score or not score.
Right.
So I don't know that the field goal comes into play. You have the 1-point lead. I think you go for it here.
And the other reason to go for it here is even if you don't get it, you're giving Seaford a long field that they'd have to go. So let's say you got a couple of yards down to the 10. You still didn't get the first down. Now Seaford's got to go 90 yards.
Right.
Or they have to go enough that they would be comfortable kicking a field goal to win the game.
And I was just about to say, typically in high school football, it's very rare to see a team attempt a game-winning field goal. We've seen it sporadically here and there, but that would be uncommon.
I saw it in this building a couple of years ago when Garden City beat MacArthur in seconds to go.
And Lawrence beat Plain Edge in a Conference 3 championship with the game-winning field goal. These are small or short field goals, I should say. Again, the odds are slim of that happening, but here we go. Looks like Cold Spring Harbor will go for it on fourth down.
And Tawkas over 100 yards. Let's see if he gets the ball here on 4th and 9 from the 12. Up the middle, down to the 5-yard line, short of the first down is Riley, and that's where Seaford will take over on downs at the 6-yard line. And while we'll look at the replay again, see just how close Riley got.
Helicopter move right there. I think that's the right call, and I think if you're Coach Mandreski, you're telling your defense, hey, listen, boys, we stop them, we win the game. That's all you could ask for. You stop them, and you win. And if you're Coach Corcoran, you say, we've done this before. If we don't commit penalties, we can march right down the field and win this game.
On first down, it's McHugh. Up the middle for not much, maybe a yard.
This has been a physical game throughout. Why should it be any different here on the final drive? Seaford again with another injury, their third injury here in the second half. On the far side of the field, that looks like John Rauchi, number 22, and it looks like he's cramping again.
And then we saw him go down before. But when you only have 3 minutes left in the game, that's not what you dial up on first down. That's not what you want at that point, because now you've taken some time off the clock and you've only gotten 1 yard. Seaford's not used to being in this position where they have to get big chunks where they have to get it all at once. They've gotten big chunks because they're just that good all season long. But now you wonder if they open it up a little bit here on this drive.
That's a good question. I think 3 minutes and 2 timeouts is probably enough time for them to continue with their offense. But I do agree with you. At some point in the drive, you will have to open it up at least 1 or 2 times. Cold Spring Harbor is going to be expecting you to run the football, so you have to at least have something up your sleeve just to keep them honest at the very, very minimum.
They have John Rauchi up, and he is walking back towards the sideline, walking very slowly with the aid of a trainer.
Also gave Cold Spring Harbor an opportunity to reset defensively, think about what they want to do here on this defensive scheme, take a little bit of a breather. They have 2 timeouts as well if they need. And they have Seaford right now in a 2nd and 9, a 2nd and long, which is exactly the position you want to hold Seaford to.
So we've got a 2nd and 9 at the 7 with less than 3 minutes to go. And here's a pass to Barone, far side, across the 10, up near the 15-yard line.
Cold Spring Harbor had 2 opportunities on that play to come up with a big loss. You're going to see a man penetrate right up the middle. Kipnis wasn't able to make the tackle. And then you see right over here, number 53, Degnan, not able to make the tackle as well. Give credit to Seaford on that play.
It was McHugh who caught the ball, not Barone. My apologies. McHugh on the reception, and he gets up to the 13-yard line, 14-yard line, 3rd down and 2. And here's another run up the middle. And that's going to be short of a first down, Ben. It looked like that was McHugh again, but this time he is stopped short, and that's going to bring up 4th down, and this is the ball game here.
That's correct. This is the ball game now. It's manageable for Seaford. You put the ball in the hands of McHugh, and they've had success that way, but they still have to convert. To your point, if they don't, I think the game at that point would be over.
1:37 to go. It's a passing play. And under a rush, and down he goes inside the 5-yard line. It's a sack and a turnover.
Michael Degnan, 53, comes in from the blind side. Quarterback never saw him for the sack. Take a look at this. Stark is just waiting for his receiver to come open. There you see the middle of your screen, the blitz. And that's a heck of a play by Michael Degnan for Cold Spring Harbor.
And now, with 1:28 to go in the fourth quarter, Cold Spring Harbor can taste a trip to the Conference 4 championship game next week against North Shore. Now the question is, Seaford has 2 timeouts left.
Yeah, they can't do anything about this. Cold Spring Harbor can take knees and
they can call timeouts, but then it gets down to they would have to take one knee, run it all the way down.
And if you're a Seahawk, if you're a Viking fan, are you asking yourself, well, why didn't we just run the ball there? I mean, that's our bread and butter. We've been so successful with that. I think Viking fans are going to think about that all season.
And here is Tawkas, and he goes for the touchdown, and I can't believe that Cold Spring Harbor ran into the end zone for a touchdown.
That was the wrong play there by the Seahawks.
They've got to go down there because now Seaford can still tie the game with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
Correct.
Assuming
Seaford allowed Cold Spring Harbor to score right there. Take another look. You're going to see this right here. I bet you the Vikings back off a little bit on defense. Look, they don't even play. They're basically allowing Cold Spring Harbor to go right into the end zone.
And here is the extra point, and the extra point is good, and that still gives us a little bit of drama here. A few seconds ago, we thought this game was completely over with, but Cold Spring Harbor scores a touchdown, and now Seaford with 1:24 still very much in this game.
You nailed it, Pete. 100% accurate. Now, it's still not a lot of time to go the length of the field, but you have to kick the ball off, number one. You have to kick the ball off. Who knows what could happen? You can get a big return, and with 2 timeouts to go, anything could happen here.
Very, very strange situation. There's another Seaford player that is injured at the 10-yard line. We'll take a break. 1:24 to go in this one. 28-20. Cold Spring Harbor on top. We'll be back on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Over the middle, he's got a man. It's complete. Ciolino. See you later.
Going long, wide open, Perazzi, he gets it, Perazzi, foot raise, 10, 5, make it, touchdown, punch, counter punch.
The trickery, Ryder gets it back, goes over the top for Haberman. What a catch!
Just Ross Simmons strips him, that's loose, and Ross Simmons is going to take this the other direction. Make it, touchdown, touchdown East.
Back at Hofstra, 1:24 to go, and Cold Spring Harbor up 28-20. Some numbers. James McHugh, 25 carries, 122 yards. Charles Tawkas, 24 carries, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. McHugh also has 2 touchdowns. Riley has 10 rushes for 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. McHugh updated numbers now. 31 rushes for 143 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tawkas has 24 carries for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns.
A lot of running today. We expected that, right? And I think we're going to see some more here.
Yeah. Well, I'm still stunned that Cold Spring Harbor scored a touchdown there, and they have given Seaford a little bit of a crack of daylight here to try and come back.
And if you can say one thing positive on that for Cold Spring Harbor, they can't lose the game on a touchdown. Seaford needs a 2-point conversion, and even that would be a tie.
Here's a squib kick. So Seaford's going to have decent field position on the return here, up to about the 35-yard line, and that was Raucci on the return. So Raucci's been banged up here in the second half, and he was able to return that up to about the 34-yard line. So 1:18 to go. They're at the 34, and Seaford still has 2 timeouts left.
But I think they're out of their offensive game, as you saw on the last play when they tried to throw the football. Now the running game is kind of out the window. Cold Spring Harbor's not going to be fooled by that. You don't have enough time to run the football with 2 timeouts left in 1:18. You have to put the ball up in the air at this point.
Kyle Stark calls a timeout.
Oh, man, the coach on the sideline. Look at the coaching staff on the sideline. You can see it on your screen. They are livid. And you're right. That's a waste of a timeout right there.
You just had all that time from the touchdown through the kickoff, through the huddle to know what you were doing, and now you have to call a timeout.
Well, I had mentioned it a second ago that it's going to be now Seaford through the air. That's the only way it can be. You lose that timeout, it even enforces that more. You just don't have enough time to play your offense unless you've got some crazy play with unbelievable blocking that can get you a 50-yard run. But that's impossible to say, right? How could you even know that? So I think they got to put the ball in the air, and at that point it's prone to an interception here at the end of the game.
So it'll be a 1st and 10 from the 34 after the timeout. Chris Navin, top of your screen. And here is a pass to McHugh. Not McHugh, to the far side to Navin. And there's really nothing there.
Yeah, nice tackle by Degnan, who's having himself one great second half here defensively. Clock continues to move.
Stark back to pass, throwing over the middle, and the pass is incomplete for McHugh. They're looking for a penalty flag, and there's no flag.
I didn't see anything that would lead to them thinking there was a personal foul. I don't know if we could take another look at that. Nope, we won't have another look at the replay, but I didn't see anything. I didn't see defensively any interference. I didn't see grabbing of any uniform. Unless we missed it from up here, I thought that was a good play by the Seahawks defensively.
3rd down and 7 from the 37. Another huge play here. Stark back to pass. Throwing, sideline, pass is caught.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds. Pass was to Rouchy, but it was out of bounds, and it would not have been a first down anyway.
But it would have been closer.
Yeah.
Right? That would have been closer. Clock would have stopped on the out of bounds. So here we go. This is the game now, Pete. We thought that was the game before.
Yeah, this
is definitely the game now.
4th down and 7 from the 37. Seaford's only got 1 timeout left. And really, they can't be picky here. If it's across the middle of the field, they got to go across the middle of the field. Stark back to pass. Looking deep down the right side, Rouchy, and he's got it for a first down inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. What a throw by Stark, and what a catch by Rouchy.
Wow, on 4th down. Can you believe this? This is it for Seaford. If they don't convert here, the game is over. And Stark going downfield and Rouchy with the catch of his career.
Now on 1st down, Stark again will put it in the air. It's incomplete at the 20-yard line. There's the flag. There is a flag for pass interference, it looks like, down at the 20-yard line. The pass was intended for Jack Murphy.
They're going to get holding, though, which is only 5 yards. It'll
Yeah.
stay first down. A little bit of a break for Cold Spring Harbor. Going back to that Rouchy catch, and the fact that it was on 4th and 7, and that was the game for them, that is just unbelievable by the Vikings. It's this is a never-say-die team. They always show up at Hofstra. Their history of success is unbelievable, and you see it on the field even in this team.
Unbelievable play. And now they get a little bit closer on the penalty. 1st and 10 at the 20. Let's see, they put this down after the penalty down at around the 16-yard line.
And with 1 timeout, they still could run. They have a chance to run if they want to with 33 seconds left in the game.
Stark pitches to McHugh, left side, now cuts back middle of the field, down inside the 10-yard line, down close to the 5-yard line with 25 seconds to go. And he is close to another first down.
You think you get a timeout?
They called timeout. They just called a timeout. The timeout was called by Thomas Harrington, the wide receiver.
I think they wanted that timeout. As we'll take another look at this run. McHugh doing a great job. I think they wanted that timeout 5 seconds earlier. And I don't know if Coach Corcoran's going to argue for another 5 seconds here, but a good cutback run there by McHugh, who's had himself an unbelievable evening. And now without any timeouts, you would expect the rest of the plays here to be through the air, but they're only 8 yards away from a touchdown, which is incredible.
Incredible drama here at Hofstra for the second game in the Conference 4 semifinals after the North Shore Clark game was a wide margin of victory for North Shore. And now North Shore is still waiting to find out who they're going to play next week. Very much up in the air now with 22 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter. It'll be a 2nd down and 1 at the 8. Now you could run to get the first down and clock it. Let's see what Seaford does. It's a pass towards the end zone, and it is caught. Back of the end zone, touchdown! Seaford is a 2-point conversion away from tying the game on the pass to Jack Murphy in the back of the end zone.
You cannot make this up, folks. 4th and 7 with a huge conversion on play action in the back of the end zone. Beating his man, still needs to make an unbelievable catch, and he gets the bottom in. That counts as a foot, counts as a touchdown. What more can you say here, Pete, about this Seaford Viking team? Never say die.
And now they still have to get the 2-point conversion to tie the game.
And nobody's been successful at that all game long today.
So let's see what they try to dial up here on the 2-point conversion. This drive has been all about the pass for the most part. Let's see if they go back to their bread and butter, the run. For the 2-point conversion to tie the game. They're going to pass again. And the pass is going to be, it's still in his hand. They throw it towards the goal line. It's incomplete. And Cold Spring Harbor is able to hold on the 2-point conversion. They got the pressure on Kyle Stark, and they are able to prevent the 2-point conversion.
Look at this. We missed it before, but number 3 on that side was wide open, and the quarterback never saw him. Wide open, and that's just unfortunate. He could have walked into the side of the end zone there on the far side of the field. But in any event, give Cold Spring Harbor a ton of credit on the other side of this field, Pete, because the momentum was going back Seaford's way. They gave up the touchdown, and when it really mattered most, the Seahawks came up with the big stop.
And now you still have, if you're Seaford, the smallest bit of hope here, but you have to recover an onside kick.
You have to recover an onside kick. You have to put the ball in the air, and you have to hope for possibly pass interference and maybe get a field goal kicker out there. I mean, there's a lot of hurdles still to climb. No matter the outcome of this game, you have to be utterly impressed with both teams here. But really talk about Seaford for a second. How many times were they out of this game?
And they're impossible to bury.
That is true.
Impossible to bury, but it looks like for the moment that Cold Spring Harbor has found a way. We questioned them scoring the touchdown, but now that touchdown winds up being a huge difference in this game because Seaford was not able to get the 2-point conversion. So now Cold Spring Harbor's got the hands team up at the 50-yard line. And here is the onside kick attempt by Garcia. It bounces, and it's going to be recovered at the 48-yard line by Cold Spring Harbor.
What a job by Tawkas, and that's not easy to do, right? You're the hands team for a reason. The ball is bouncing on the turf. It could take a ugly bounce, come off your fingers, but that's why you put the best players on that line who can hold on to the football, and that senior captain did just that. Charles Tawkas, who had a great game today, and he sealed the victory here for Cold Spring Harbor.
And all now is needed is a snap and a kneel down, and Cold Spring Harbor is going to advance to the Conference 4 championship game next weekend against North Shore High School right here at Hofstra University. It's C.J. Riley. Up to the line. He takes a knee, and that is going to do it. The clock is going to run down on Seaford. They will not be able to have a undefeated season. It is Cold Spring Harbor. The Seahawks have a date with North Shore High School in the Conference 4 championship game as they beat Seaford 28-26.
And Cold Spring Harbor and North Shore faced off in the semifinals in the spring. And because of COVID protocols, Cold Spring Harbor had a lot of players not in that game. As a matter of fact, last year, C.J. Riley was the wide receiver. He had to play quarterback in that game. So you know Cold Spring Harbor wants to pay it back to North Shore. And, Pete, you know North Shore wants a Nassau County championship. I think next week, Saturday, find a way to get here at Hofstra. That's going to be an epic game.
It's going to be an absolutely crazy game. And we're just halfway done for football here at Hofstra today. Our day is done, but still to come, the Garden City Cary Conference 2 semifinal game. It will not be starting at 5 o'clock because it's already 5:01. We'll be starting at some point later on this evening, and that is expected to be followed. We have not heard whether or not the MacArthur Mepham game would be changed from today to tomorrow. We still expect that game to take place later on tonight. So stay tuned to Varsity Media Sports Network for the Conference 2 semifinal games later on.
Before we go, we just want to thank our sponsor again, Orland & Cohen. They have made this possible throughout the day. They have kept our broadcast free to the viewing public, which is what the viewing public has been used to the entire season on the Varsity Media Sports Network. So we really want to thank our title sponsor, Orland & Cohen, for allowing today's game to be broadcast free. Orland & Cohen are the best providers of orthopedic care around Long Island. Visit them online for more information at orlandcohen.com.
So that wraps it up for the Conference 4 semifinals. For Ben Turchin, I'm Peter Schwartz, reminding you our final score here in the second semifinal game, Cold Spring Harbor 28 and Seaford 26. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening, everyone, on the Varsity Media Sports Network.